Alright, first off, we'd like to say all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, us to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, preaching this word in all sincerity and truth. This is basically GMS Intellect once more, Brother Iron from the GMS Jamaica camp, and today's lesson is going to be like a continuation to the last lesson, WW3 Geopolitics, Jamaica, Caribbean, USA and China. But basically this lesson now we're going to a document for help bring across the point or confirm all the what I said in the first video, right? And I'm gonna read a little about this this bill or this foreign policy law from the 1980s. Now brothers can look up for yourself, although I read it. The correct term for it is called the James Monroe Doctrine. And so yeah, we'll just go straight in it, right? This is an article from Jamaica Gleaner, dated December 21, 2014, and the article the head of the article is Cuba for US, who's for us, right? So just I read a little part out of it, not the whole article, just the main point about the bill. Alright, it says in the the third paragraph, it says, in 1823, President James Monroe declared that all of the Americas, meaning North America, South America and the Caribbean, James Monroe declared that all the Americas were United States neighborhood, and thus any attempt by European nations to consolidate or colonize any new territory in this hemisphere would be seen as an act of aggression against the US and liable to severe and decisive military action. Right? So basically what it says, any nation would basically, or any European nation, but China is included, even though China is a part of Asia, but basically it has any nation where try consolidate or colonize any Caribbean country or in the America, whether North America, South America, or within the Caribbean, can basically them see that as an act of aggression. Now, as we stated in the first video, so China try build a logistical hub in Jamaica, and also we state that they might invest whole heap in the Caribbeans and the South America. China in particular, but also Russia, because Russia help the Venezuelan government. We don't know, say Russia and Cuba are allies from back in the Cold War, with and even here in Jamaica, China own the harbor as the Jamaican harbor, right? So this document show that, look here, America are pre-Russia and China for all of them investments here, what them do within the Caribbean, and them, in a nutshell, them see it as an act of war. So this whole the America summit where Obama are gonna visit the whole entire region, this is what I'm gonna talk to them about. You might show them, so look here, we now violate the lawyer or the bill we get passed in 1823. That's how they know, say them in breach of that law. So by them forming agreements and alliances with China and Russia, with all them investment here, them walk a thin line. That's basically it, because this is a foreign policy. When you Google it, them tell you say it's a foreign policy law, right? And it tell you say Obama come here with him foreign policy advisor. So that's how I do. He must show, say, look here, this is why they must say, yo, that's why they don't really want to come out and say, look here, it's a war actor. That's why they must come out and the guys are terrorism, because they don't really want to spook the public, say the world about to go at war. What they must do, they must try to keep it on a hush hush. So that's why they must come under the guise of terrorism, right? So this just proves that we in a time of war. As we say, how China help. Most of my state in the first video, China help Argentina give them fighter jets. You have Russian and Venezuela do military drills. You have all them investments here by China, and all also you don't know how Cuba and Russia stay already. So if that are now a form of colonizing or even are getting new territory or making new alliances is against the US. That's what them say is a threat to them national security, but them now gonna tell us under the guise of this bill, the James Monroe Doctrine. Them now gonna state that. But them because them want to keep everything on a hush hush. Right? So that I it on that. We also have a next article basically a show that the US it a rough on even Jamaica within itself because it's a rough on Jamaica based on the fact that the US have intelligence on the country, on the politicians, on them corruption and all that, because you know a few years back a minister by the name of Dr. Peter Phillips, they basically signed a document called the Memorandum of Understanding, where it basically give local agencies and foreign agencies the right or the approval to get intelligence from local cars and internet providers and all of that, to get intelligence from people within Jamaica. And because of that, they have a lot of people within Parliament, they call him a CIA agent. Right? So, based on all of that, them can blackmail even the Jamaican government to make them know, so look here, we not violate the law here or the treaty or this how we sign. So it's either get back from par or we're going blackmail and we're going destabilize in the country or whatever. And notice that all of them moves here are take place right in the midst of the beginning of the financial year, which is April. Because if you all want to know, the financial year beginning in April. This is where all governments and all banks basically review them financial status and budget, bring them budget for the following year. Right? So imagine Jamaica get a sanction right after them do them budget for the beginning of financial year. It basically got throw off the whole entire year if that are the case. Where if the case based on the intelligence with them get off corrupt officials and all of that, if them put that out in the public, then that is problem right there and then. Because that I have mass rioting and police abandon and this and that and the other. Right? So it's a very slippery slope, right? Because the memorandum of understanding basically nobody never know are going under the nose of the public. Nobody never really know about it. Then basically yes, it's a undemocratic way of Dr. Peter Phillips basically passing this bill, and even people within Parliament they have an uproar over it, right? So yeah, now we have an article here about the drug trade and the increased militarization of the Caribbean, because even you have in America the police force basically get militarized, and out here in Jamaica you have someone them call the jump out squad, and when you see them they don't look like ordinary police, they basically look like military officials. As a matter of fact, I try to see if we can show you right here on the screen. Hopefully your brothers are seeing that. No, because I can't see the phone screen, but yeah, that's the tight for that, right? So we're going at the article now, bits and pieces of it, right? It says, given the current controversy surrounding the extent of the US drone program and targeted killings, it is important to revisit that in the summer of 2012, the US Customs and Border Protection Agency announced that unmanned drones would be patrolling Caribbean airspace. This is only one aspect of how the war on drugs in the Caribbean is increasingly looking like the war on terror. So, even in the Caribbean, you have martial law for all of them peons that we basically believe that this all of them crises you them see in Europe and America don't affect them, because based off of this article it say US have a lot of talk based off of the two articles it shows say US basically consider the Caribbean as them own. Basically, US are run the Caribbean. So right now, it's a divide between China and Russia, and basically the American government over the whole entire Western region, because them feel like them are getting encircled. It says, given the current controversy surrounding, hold on. It says Caribbean Basin Security Initiative, that are the name of the group where them have formed. This is only one aspect of how the war on drugs in the Caribbean is increasingly looking like the war on terror. So okay, continuing. It says the US Caribbean border is often ignored third border, which the Department of Homeland Security has referred to as an open door for drug traffickers and terrorists. A recent study by the National Defense University has stated that the region's nexus to the United States uniquely positions it in the proximity, US geopolitical and strategic sphere. So basically, them are call the war on drugs. They shows all of this now basically is not about the war on drugs. It's basically a way to protect the US, or give them a geopolitical advantage over the whole Caribbean. This is a whole reason for them to form the task force. That's why I say the US Caribbean border is often ignored. Right? So that's what them try with this task force. It's not about a war on drugs or war on terrorism. It's basically I read it again. It says this region's nexus to the United States uniquely positions it in the proximity, US geopolitical and strategic sphere. Thus, there is an incentive, if not an urgency, for the United States to proactively pursue security capacity building measures in the Caribbean region. Exactly. So it's all about, this task force is not about protecting the Caribbean or keeping it from terrorists and war on drugs. It's about security of the US. Basically, the world, they want to use the whole Caribbean region to boost them security, because them know say them enemies, i.e. Russia and China, can basically attack them or creep up on them using the Caribbean regions. Them know that. So them try find a way to secure that. But as you said, them not gonna ever come out and tell us straight say it's a way to protect themselves against other nations, because them no want to put the world in a panic. Them might do it under the guise of drugs and terrorism to kind of hide the whole thing from the public. It says while the drones are unarmed for the time being, so them claims that in the time at the Valley them says they are unarmed drone. Not no gossip, because the people them even report say bombs they be dropped on them and we don't know say drones do that. Right? It says while the drones are unarmed for the time being, they will be primarily used to locate drug traffickers operating fishing boats, fast boats, and semi-submarines which will relay information to the Coast Guard, Navy, or Caribbean authorities to carry out the interception and arrest. It has been revealed that the drones will be operating out of bases in Corpus Christi, Texas, Cocoa Beach, Florida, and potentially the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Now, majority of them places here, as a matter of fact, all of them countries here run by the US, because it tell you that after 1892, after 1823, as a matter of fact, I read it because in our first article, it says by the end of the Spanish-American War in 1898, the treaty with Spain had given rights to its colonies, Puerto Rico and Cuba, to the Americans. So we hear about Puerto Rico a while ago, and Dominican Republic, I think them under Spain as well. So all of them here where the drones are get manned from a US territories. So for sure say it's all geopolitical It says the shift towards the use of drones in the region is largely based on an unconvincing pilot program carried out over 18 months in the Bahamas. Right? go down to an next part. I skim through the article. It says, that said, the Caribbean governments increase militarization in the region when they implement the never-ending war on drugs. Exactly, because it's just like the war on terror, yo. There's one boogeyman after the next, just to keep control of the region, yo, without any public consultation or debate. Exactly, them not ask somebody what they want to do, them just do it, because them feel like them have the power to do it. This erosion of regional sovereignty may be a slippery slope to a dangerous future in which Caribbean nationals may very well find themselves on kill lists instead of facing trial, and that can go under the persecution of brothers, because them basically can call you a terrorist if them consider you a drug dealer, or any form of terrorism against them, yo, because the anti-gang bill is also something against terrorism as well. So they must say, yo, Caribbean nationals can find themselves on kill lists instead of facing trial. So they now will come try and them just come and scoop you up, probably carry Guantanamo Bay or some one of them holding cell and torture the hell out of brothers, yo, because them consider them terrorists. That are all under this this new Caribbean task force where the US are run. Says such a conclusion is not baseless, as a November 2012 report by the U.S. House Committee on Homeland Security recommended that Latin America drug cartels be classified as terrorist organizations, so the increased ability to counter their threat to national security. Furthermore, in 2009, the U.S. military drew criticisms for placing 50 suspected Afghani drug traffickers on a kill list as a part of ongoing efforts to cut off finance stream of the Taliban. The controversy arose due to the fact that drug traffickers, generally classified as civilians, had now been placed in the same legal category as the Taliban insurgents and thus became legitimate targets. So this is what them do. Them basically once them put you on for them kill lists, or classify you as a terrorist, whether them are call you a terrorist because you're a street preacher, or whether them are call you a terrorist because you deal drugs, or any one of them in a sense minor offenses, then them are basically put up on the same category as men where commit terrorism, as in strapping bombs on themselves and ISIS and the whole works, yo. That are the category them are put in, so anybody can be deemed. Anybody with them seem fit can be deemed as a terrorist, as long as them are against for them so-called guidelines and for them rules. It says this is especially important in the light of how the extradition of Jamaican kingpin Christopher Douglas Coke was handled. In September 2009, the United States requested his extradition to face drug trafficking charges, but Jamaican Prime Minister Bruce Golding blocked the request due to his deep political connections with Coke. I try to find the next part where basically I show that them are trained. Yeah, it says to prevent such explosive outcomes in the future, there has been a call for a close integration between the Caribbean Police Force and the US DEA in certain escalation of a war on drugs. In September 2012, Senate reports reveal that Jamaica has been floated as a target for a sensitive investigative unit, which consists of highly trained police and collaborated with the DEA. A similar program exists in Kandahar, where US and British troops have created and participated in a task force made up of Afghan police officers and US DEA agents to disrupt the drug trade and investigate corrupt Afghan officials. So them basically have a task force in the Caribbean, basically in them Caribbean countries here are joined with the United States to investigate so-called drugs and terrorist groups. So that means we will just like how we have the government spy upon brothers and basically a view citizens as terrorists, seems that the secret task force by the United States and Jamaican government can even investigate brothers and classify them as terrorists, put them on kill lists, and basically persecute them here without trial. It's as simple as that. Let's see if no more upon that. Yeah, but let's continue. It says, according to the seemingly benign Department of Homeland Security press release announcing the drone program, the DHS is partnering with Caribbean nations to enhance border security in the region through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. So they might use the Caribbean forces basically for help protect them borders. But as we say, this will cause conflict because China invests in a Jamaica military as well. You have multiple investments by them foreign countries here in Jamaica, so are within the whole Caribbean. So it'll be like, if you don't mind sharp, this is how them can start even a civil war by splitting two sides, and basically even use certain security forces to overthrow certain government, to bring the country in a certain situation. So as we say, Jamaica and even the Caribbean in a sticky situation right now as concerning the side we want to pick in this upcoming war. It says DHS is conducting border security training in conjunction with the CBSI. Yeah, so like about that. Camera basically act up. Alright, read what the sentence says. So the DHS is conducting border security training in conjunction with the CBSI to increase partner nation capacity to secure their borders. The problem with such statements is that there is always more shady business going on behind the scenes. Given the direction of US policy in the region, it will only be a matter of time until the war on drugs becomes eerily similar to the war on terror. So you see that, they might show you, say, look here, this is just a front for turn the war on drugs, because the way how them control the Caribbean is by the war on drugs. Meanwhile, they might invest in Europe. But now that things are getting sticky, they might change. They might, instead of focus them facilities and them equipment and all of that on the war and drugs, them just use the same system and the same equipment and turn it over to use it as a war as a guise for a war on terror. That for sure say even with this whole ISIS situation I'm talk about, this is a way for move over, and also a way to infiltrate the security forces and the officials within the Caribbean nations, right? And that this is a way for show that even brothers within the Caribbean get persecuted just the same, and under the threat of martial law and all them things here we're about to take place in the US just the same. Next paragraph, it says, it is impossible to argue against the protection of the Caribbean people against the ravages of the drug trade. Concrete steps must be taken to combat it. However, the militarization of the region should not be considered the only way to move forward. Preventative programs to tackle youth crime and general unemployment must be instituted and supported by Caribbean governments and their international partners. Despite what the previous mentioned National Defense University thinks about the militarization of the Caribbean, such actions are not preventative, but reactionary and ultimately futile. Like anywhere else, it is a low lack of opportunity which creates foot soldiers for the drug trade. The determination to create a real alternative is what is needed, not the deployment of more drones or more special police task force. So let us discuss for sure that, look here, we're at the end here. All them geopolitical move here are showed that this is the end. As you say, all this, the war on drugs, all of them think they basically all get switch over to a war on terror, and that's how them plan for evil running upon the Caribbean countries them and take control of them, just like how in a Libya them sending US forces, just like in Iraq and all of that, and them use them thing to destabilize the region. Syria just the same. Now in a Yemen, and them even consider even the Russians them as terrorists. They basically have some terror attack against the Russian them based on the whole Ukraine situation. and all of them country there, in a sense, all them country they get destabilized in some way, shape or form by the splitting of the countries. Half of them backed by the US, half backed by Russia. And basically Russia and China basically in partnership here, you can basically say the same thing will take place in the Caribbean, you know. And it's upon a broad scale geopolitically, but also it internal as a way to show that this is a running on the brothers, you know. So with that, I'm gonna read a scripture before I close. Now we'll go to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 70. It says, For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall lay waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses. Then they shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. So all of this, as we say, World War 3, persecution of brothers, all of this are coming one, martial law and the world works, right? So anybody have anything when they want to add to it, them can drop in the comment section. As we say, look up the James Monroe Doctrine, and if nobody can basically add to this video, do a video we might expound more or edify more, feel free to do that, right? So with that, I'd like to say all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the brothers to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways doing this word in all sincerity and truth. Shalom.